Hi, this is Valerie, and I wanted to come on today to go through the steps. I want to describe my story, basically. And I'm going to use the context of this book, Everyone Has a Story by Andy Matzner. He's a licensed clinical social worker. That's what those letters are. He uses a version of narrative therapy combined with the hero's journey, like Joseph Campbell. So I thought I'd answer the questions in video. What you're hearing in the background is my kitten attacking boxes. Yeah, that's my life these days. She's, 4 months or so old. Yeah. Anyway, the ordinary world. What was going on in your life before you were faced with something out of the ordinary? Wow, what was going on in my life? I'm going to turn this a little bit this way. So what was going on? What was ordinary? What was the ordinary world? So I was a stay-at-home mom. I was a community volunteer. I was homeschooling my kids. And that was, I think my daughter was probably 18. My son was, almost 3 years younger than that. The other one was about 3 years younger than that. So basically, I've been doing momming for years, and all of that for years. I came to Colorado as a military spouse. He only spent 4 years in to pay off his scholarship for college, their father. And I was married. I had a house out east of Black Forest, Colorado, and pretty much made food 3 times a day, food from scratch, volunteered at church, ran a 4-H club that I started with another homeschool parent, and been homeschooling for about 4 years. So started that in 2000, and yeah, so living the dream, One of my friends said, you have it all. You have, a nice house. We were on 2.5 acres of property. I was a stay-at-home mom, and she's like, you've got it all, and could do what I wanted with my kids. I could teach them to drive myself. We did biology experiments on the kitchen counter. Could order all the lab for high school science to do at home. I've been in Colorado since, for a long time at that point, because all my children were born in Colorado, even though I'm from Miami and their dad is from Alabama. I'd gotten my Bachelor of Arts in Social Work from Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama, which was only an hour and a half from my grandparents. I had subscribed to the worldview of my parents and the culture that I grew up in. And basically that was, get married, but have a degree. So get a degree. So education was important. Both my parents were public educators. My mom was a first grade teacher. My father was a junior high PE teacher and coach. And he had a master's in administration, school administration. My mom was a first generation college student, got her teaching degree in the 1950s. Yeah, because my parents married in 59. She was 24, Daddy was 30. He had been engaged twice before my mother. So I always thought that the way he was because he got married so late. Who knows where these things come from? I was trying to figure out why he was stubborn, he was obsessive compulsive, and he had rage issues. he never hurt any of us, but his emotions would get out of hand. So I grew up with my mother taking care of my father in more ways than one. But I didn't know all of that at the time, that when everything was sort of what was happening at the time. What was the question in this book again? The ordinary world. So my ordinary world was homeschooling and volunteering at the church and in the community. So I would sit on committees. I helped to pick a principal for a new school that was opening nearby in our school district. I ran a Bible study for women at my house. And ran women's ministries, taught at the church, vacation Bible school in the summer, and baby Sunday school. On Sundays, they sang in the choir. My children were in youth group, and I volunteered for a youth group. I would drive, I would go with them on their outings. I was taking bus driving lessons to get be able to drive the church bus, so I could. I thought I was a better driver than the people that were driving. So, and boy, I'd go to Christian Home Educators of Colorado conferences every year to get support for homeschooling, and picked the curriculum for each of the children based on what I thought was best for them developmentally. So I learned about learning styles. We did combined history and Bible, and what else? Bible, history. We read books out loud. I read books out loud, living books for history. We did 2 years of American history, U.S. history, just with books from the library. There was a series that I liked. And each of the children had their own spelling program, math and science at whatever level they were. And we also did 4-H projects. So myself and another homeschool mom, whom we met in Australia when both our husbands were on a contract over there and we were living over there. We met, and so she was homeschooling and I was homeschooling, and we wanted, like the kids to learn Robert's Rules of Order and take leadership roles. And so we started a 4-H club. The kids voted, and we called it the Thunderbirds because of the Air Force Academy here, I think. Anyway, both of the fathers had been in the Air Force or were in the Air Force. I think her husband was still in active duty, yeah. And so we would meet regularly. We had to have 5 to have a club. So one of my younger son's friends in the neighborhood came over to do the 4-H club. So we had 3 families represented, and we would do projects. Each child gets to pick a project and then do presentations for the parents. So wow, I haven't thought about that in a long time. So this was like 17 years ago. So I wanted to tell that because that's what I thought was normal, which was what this book says. The ordinary world. Yep, I would drive the kids, or if one of them were learning to drive, they would drive to church. We went Sunday morning, Sunday night. We did Wednesday night or any other events. And so we lived about 5 miles, I think, from the church. 3 miles, I don't know. So it was a good amount of space for them to practice their driving. And yeah, that was the ordinary world. Okay.